Hello world, and welcome back to Zara overview and tutorial series. In the last episode, we talked a little about Zara history and learned how to, in span of a few minutes, include Zara into the project and see it working. By the way, Zara is mostly sitting still and not doing anything. It wakes up only once per real second to update all its controllers, so using Zara will not hit your game performance at all. Today, we'll dive a little deeper. We will take a look at all core Zara nodes, we'll learn how to change weather and player status data for Zara, and also how to save and restore Zara state. Let's start. Every Zara instance, every person, has 5 core components: health, body, inventory, player status, and weather description. First 3 are big nodes that totally control health, clothes and appliances, inventory, and other 2 are little nodes that serve as a layer between your game and Zara, as we talked in the first video. Let's start with them. Let's create a script where we'll be testing Zara, and extract Zara behavior to a separate game object player, and pass it to our new script. So, here in our test code, we have our Zara-powered player character instance. We will grab its player property and cast it to our player status class, so we can have access to its custom methods that iPlayer status interface does not have. To tell Zara that our character started running, for example, we must call setRunning true. When character stopped running, we must call setRunning false. Exact same thing with walking, swimming, and going under the water. All of those things, of course, are controlled by your own character code, but you must not forget to pass this information to Zara and these little calls, so all Zara nodes can adjust accordingly. You may notice that player status class contains properties like run speed, walk speed, and crouch speed, and methods to set them. We will talk about how player speed is managed in Zara in a video when we will be discussing Zara event handling. If your game has weather, you must tell Zara about the weather events in very similar manner. As soon as environment temperature changes, you must call setTemperature on character's weather property. Same with wind speed and rain intensity. Notice that rain intensity measures in 0 to 1 float scale, but wind speed is in meters per second. Temperature in degrees Celsius. Zara is using metric system throughout. All percentages are measured in 0 to 100 in scale. Okay, let's now explore briefly 3 core Zara controllers, starting with health. To read current player health information, we must look into health status property. This class contains all data about players' vitals: body temperature, top and bottom blood pressure, heart rate, oxygen level, food level, water level, stamina level, fatigue level, all active and scheduled diseases and injuries, as well as helper properties to check if player has leg fracture, check if he can run or sleep. You can also look at the game time when character slept last time. Also, Health class provides access to all medical agent monitors, but it's too much for now. We'll look into this in a separate video. You're not supposed to modify these properties. They are recalculated every second. In the next video, we will look more in depth into the health controller, diseases and injuries, and learn how to spawn them. But for now, just remember that in order to access player's health information, you must use its health status property. Moving on. Inventory. This is a really big topic, just like health engine. Today we'll explore only a little bit. With inventory controller, you can access player's inventory, you can craft, use items, eat, drink, take pills, put bandages and make injections, add and remove items from the inventory. To access all players' items, use Items Collection. Keep in mind, do not modify this collection manually, use specific methods for this. Add item and remove item. That's because adding to the inventory is not a one-liner as it may look. If you are adding an item that already exists in the inventory, Zara will just increment its count. Otherwise, item will be added to the collection. Also, Zara recalculates inventory cache and all items' rough weight. Every inventory item has its name, unique string. To check if an item with a given name exists in the inventory, call hasItem method. It will look into the inventory cache and return a result of boolean. To get inventory item, it is recommended to use getByName or getByType methods, and not use items collection directly. Getting food items, for example, is a tricky thing, as we'll discuss later. Okay, moving on. Player's body. This controller gives you access to clothes character is wearing now, to all appliances like bandages and splints, contains warmth score and wetness level. Using this class, you can also initiate sleep. This topic will be discussed in a separate video, so I will just take a glance here. To see what clothes player is wearing, use Clothes Collection. In the same manner, to get access to all players' appliances, use Appliances Collection. As I said, we'll explore clothes groups, cold and water resistant levels, look at warmth level and sleeping in a separate video. Okay, what about saving Zara state? Almost every game in existence has some kind of saving mechanics, and Zara, being a huge beast, surely must know how to save and load itself, right? Right, if you're using only built-in base classes and not adding any new properties to them, you can call Zara engine, engine state, get state, and pass there your player Zara instance. That's all you need to do. The object you'll get in return contains everything Zara needs to completely restore everything inside itself, including the whole inventory, every bit of health state with diseases, injuries and their treatment. Every little private field of every Zara class is stored in this object. Of course, you can serialize it any way you want, into JSON, XML, binary or your own crazy format. We will discuss this topic in depth in a separate video too. To restore this state, call Zara engine, engine state, restore state, and pass three things: player, Zara instance, to where the state will be restored into, state object itself, and a method to restore game time. Because Zara doesn't know how game time in your game is managed, it calls a method that receives a game time stored in the status object, and you must set your game time to this value, wherever game time is stored in your game. If you are using separate game time for Zara, you must set it there too. In other words, after restore state called a method to restore game time, world time property of this Zara instance must contain a new value. If game time is not restored, you may get unpredictable behavior and nonsensical values across the board. Restore state call will totally override past Zara instance internal, so keep that in mind. There is a demo project on a GitHub where you can test and experiment with every bit of Zara functionality, so you can grab it and explore. That was a brief look at all core Zara nodes. We learned how to read players' health info, how to access inventory, clothes and appliances, how to pass to Zara instance information about players' activities and weather status, and how to save and restore Zara state. In the next video, we'll explore Health Engine in depth. See you in the next episode.